The recent evolution of education in light of political and commercial ambitions, technological advancements, and knowledge creation has raised key concerns relating to education for and learning about sustainable development. In this special episode of the book series, we learn that unless implementation of the new definitions of inclusive, quality education are prioritized everywhere, sustainable development will be severely hampered and conceivably misdirected. We continue our discussion with the author of Sustainable Development, Education and Learning, the Challenge of Inclusive, Quality Education for All. This book was published by Agenda Publishing, and it is also being distributed by Columbia University Press. A copy can be accessed in the links in the description panel. I think we can get to continue on our discussion. I want to give you an opportunity to just maybe give a breakdown of the sources that you consulted and some of the literature that you also consulted that, is related to your particular study that we can also get to read and, familiarize ourselves with.
Yeah, it's interesting what was just mentioned about where to begin with the changes, because I think that in education, as in other kinds of development, you have a kind of dialectical process that goes on. Do you know the infinity sign? The one that goes like that? Yes. I tend to turn it on its side because to me, it represents what I've been doing and what a lot of others do. I've worked on the grassroots. I've worked with teachers, with students and children, getting ideas, testing out, making learning materials, learning methodologies, especially in connection with active learning and interdisciplinarity. But we've had the opportunity to feed those experiences and those, and not just myself, but the colleagues and the people I've worked with around the globe, into the international work that's being done by UNESCO and OECD and EU, where they make decisions and try to influence the policymakers. So then eventually the policymakers include, for example, education for sustainable development or global citizenship or, caring society, things like that. Even small things like mindfulness and involving emotional aspects of learning. And then it comes back down again and has to be done by the teachers because their systems have required it, and then up again. But yes, it takes very much time. But because of that, I've been fortunate enough to work with a great number of researchers and educators around the world. And I would say that many of the sources of the material that I have used in my book, they come from the reports that have been made by UNESCO, the Global Education Monitoring Report. They've also been made by the different authors and researchers. And of course, you have some outstanding researchers in the field, and I have a bibliography that's 20 pages long, and I can't give you all of those. But one of them is, interestingly enough, a book that has been written in South Africa at Rhodes University in connection with the work that they've done there in environmental ethics, and where they say that the whole aspect of ethics has to be brought into education to a much greater degree. And that's one book that I've worked very much with. And then you have the books that have been written by Arden Walls, who has worked very much on the concept of envisioning futures. And I feel that this whole idea of future learning, which Finland has been very focused on, has been a valuable source of insight and inspiration for the things I've been working on. I also have always appreciated the work of Eduardo de Bono, who is an educator from, he's dead now, but he worked very much on creative thinking that goes outside the box, where you involve many aspects. It's not this lateral thinking approach that most of us have. And of course, one of the researchers who I have great respect for is Jeremy Rifkin and his empathic civilization, which helps us to recognize that the world has not just moved forward because of wars, but that we've actually developed through the centuries a greater understanding and a greater empathy for each other, and recognition of the fact that although we have worse technology that can destroy more, and we can kill each other more easily, there are more restrictions, there are more things, that laws and even just attitudes that say I should be concerned about you in Zimbabwe, or what's going on in Malawi or other places, rather than just being focused on myself. And I think this whole concept of trying to go from the egocentric to the magnanimous is something that a large number of researchers are focusing on. And I would take up the whole movement of the caring society, if you are familiar with that. They were also a group that has inspired, and I've used much of their research in my book.